Tonight's episode brings together 3 chilling true crime stories involving trust, obsession, and warnings that came too late. Our first case begins in a fast-growing college city in Tennessee, a place filled with students, nightlife, and the energy of young people starting new lives. Among them was a 22-year-old woman named Heather, who had recently moved there after being accepted into university. She was known for her kindness, her bright smile, and the way she always made others feel comfortable. Friends described her as caring, especially toward her younger sibling who had special developmental needs. Helping him had inspired her dream of one day becoming a counselor. She had relocated to begin a new chapter, working a job, making friends, and enjoying the freedom that came before classes began. But behind the excitement of a fresh start, danger was already moving quietly around her. Heather had become part of a busy social scene. She met many people, trusted easily, and believed there was good in everyone. She spent nights out with friends, and like many young adults, thought she had time to figure life out. One evening in early August, she told a close friend she planned to go out to a local bar. Because she often overslept, she asked that same friend to call her in the morning and come wake her if she didn't answer. It seemed like a normal request. The next morning, repeated calls went unanswered. Concerned, her friend went to the apartment and found the door unlocked. Inside, the apartment looked messy, but that wasn't unusual. Then she saw Heather lying face down on a mattress. At first, she assumed Heather had simply come home exhausted after a wild night. But when she touched her foot, the truth became horrifyingly clear. Her body was cold. Police arrived and found signs of violence. Heather had been attacked, strangled, and sexually assaulted. Investigators searched the apartment and discovered one detail that seemed like a breakthrough: a bloody fingerprint left in plain view. Detectives believed the case might be solved quickly. They began interviewing people from Heather's life, starting with men she had recently spent time with. One former boyfriend was jealous and controlling. Another man had dropped her home from the bar that night. Yet one by one, fingerprints and DNA samples eliminated each suspect. Meanwhile, police reviewed her phone records and discovered she had contacted several people that evening. One name surfaced repeatedly: a young man named Brandon. Detectives invited him in for questioning. Calm at first, he said he knew Heather casually and had visited her apartment before. But while he spoke, the fingerprint from the crime scene was being compared through a statewide database. Then the match came back. The bloody print belonged to Brandon. Suddenly, the tone of the interview changed. Detectives confronted him, telling him there was no innocent explanation for blood on his hand touching her bed. Brandon denied everything, but the evidence had trapped him. He was arrested for murder and sexual assault. Yet, what investigators found next was even more disturbing. After obtaining a warrant for his phone, they uncovered hidden videos. Those recordings showed that in the months before Heather's death, Brandon had secretly visited her late at night, drugged her while she was unconscious, and assaulted her while filming the attacks. She had never known the truth. Detectives concluded that on the night she was killed, Heather discovered what he had done. She confronted him. Rather than face exposure, he silenced her forever. Prosecutors later offered a plea deal to spare Heather's family years of appeals and trauma. Brandon admitted guilt and received a decades-long prison sentence. Heather's mother later said her daughter's greatest flaw was trusting people too much. It was the same kindness that made her loved by so many that also left her vulnerable to one predator hiding behind a familiar face. Our second case takes us to Florida, wherein one 8-year-old young mother named Kaylin was trying to build a future despite the pressures of adulthood arriving early. She had already become a mother as a teenager and was raising her 1-year-old son with the support of family. Intelligent, determined, and full of humor, she had finished school early and was preparing for college. But she was also pregnant again, and this pregnancy had become the center of growing conflict with a man named Donovan. He was older, charming online, and had entered her life through social media. At first, the relationship seemed promising, but Kaylin eventually learned she had been lied to. Donovan already had another girlfriend, and to him their relationship had never meant what it meant to her. When she told him she was pregnant, he pushed for abortion. She refused. Arguments followed. Messages became tense. Friends later said Kaylin was worried for her safety. On the night of November 11th, she left home saying she was dropping off her son. In truth, she was going to meet Donovan after he claimed he wanted to talk and had a solution. Before leaving, she asked a close friend to track her phone location, a sign she feared something might happen. She drove to a quiet park near the water, a place that became empty late at night. Hours passed. Her father began calling repeatedly when she did not return. Then, police called him instead. Officers had found Kaylin dead in the driver's seat of her car with a gunshot wound to the head. Her unborn child died with her. Detectives immediately suspected she had been lured there. Kaylin's friend explained everything: the pregnancy dispute, the fear, the tracking request, the final meeting. Donovan was contacted and claimed he was not even in Florida. He said he was in Virginia and posted a social media image to support the story. But investigators checked the metadata and discovered the photo had actually been taken months earlier. It was a staged alibi. They then obtained his phone records and uncovered deleted messages. In those conversations, Donovan expressed rage about the pregnancy. In some messages, he told others he wanted to kill her. They also found internet searches about disabling phone location services. Prosecutors believed the murder had been planned, yet the arrest did not come immediately. Behind the scenes, authorities spent months building a case strong enough to pursue the harshest possible sentence. Nearly 10 months later, Donovan was arrested and charged with killing both Kaylin and her unborn child. During trial, prosecutors presented a digital trail of lies, anger, and intent. They argued he had lured her to a dark, isolated place and executed a calculated murder to avoid responsibility and preserve the life he was already living. The defense claimed there was no direct witness. No one saw the trigger pulled, and no physical evidence placed him in the car at the moment of death. But jurors weighed the messages, the fake alibi, the secret meeting, and the motive. After only a short deliberation, they returned guilty verdicts on every major charge. Kaylin's family wept in relief after years of pain. Later, the court imposed the most severe penalties available under state law. Her father said she had been brave because she chose her child despite pressure and fear. In the end, she lost her life because someone else refused to accept her choice. These first two stories are reminders that danger often wears the face of someone already known. Sometimes the greatest threat is not the stranger in the dark, but the person who has already earned trust. Our final case takes us to Colorado Springs, a city known for mountain views, fresh air, and peaceful neighborhoods. But inside an ordinary pharmacy store, one teenager's final hours would expose a pattern of ignored warnings and workplace failure. 17-year-old Riley was the kind of person people remembered immediately. Friends called her Smiley Riley because she made everyone feel noticed and valued. She was an honor student with straight-A grades, an artist who painted and played guitar, and a young woman already thinking about a future in forensic science. She wanted to work with DNA evidence one day and help solve crimes. At home, she was deeply loved by her mother and stepfather. Their bond was unusually close, built on trust, humor, and constant support. Riley had recently started a part-time job at a local retail pharmacy while finishing high school. She was proud to earn her own money and excited to gain independence. But within weeks of starting, one older coworker began focusing on her in ways that made her uncomfortable. His name was Joshua, nearly a decade older than Riley. At first, he seemed helpful, showing her routines and store tasks. Then his behavior shifted. He stood too close, pushed conversations into inappropriate topics, and made disturbing comments no teenage employee should ever hear from a coworker. Riley reported him to management, expecting serious action. Instead, she was told he would simply be spoken to. Nothing changed. Soon, Riley said Joshua touched her inappropriately while passing by. She requested separate shifts so she would not have to work with him. Management agreed only if she accepted fewer hours forcing her to choose between safety and income. She accepted the loss. Later, when she wanted more hours again, she returned to shifts where Joshua was present, hoping things would improve. They did not. Co-workers noticed Joshua becoming jealous after Riley's boyfriend also started working there. He acted possessive, bossy, and increasingly angry. Riley privately referred to him as a harasser and told others she was scared of him. On January 11th, during an evening shift, Joshua told another worker that Riley should take her break at a specific time. At 5:30 p.m., Riley walked toward the break room. She never returned. After more than an hour, staff became concerned. The manager reviewed cameras and saw Riley heading to break, but the camera angle near the room had been blocked by stacked bins. Another window into the room had been covered with paper from inside. As employees searched further, they found a handwritten sign placed on a nearby restroom reading out of service. Another strange effort to redirect people away from the area. When the manager entered the break room, he found Riley dead in a pool of blood. Panic spread through the store. Police rushed to the scene and immediately learned Joshua was missing. Witnesses told detectives Riley had recently said she was afraid of him and wanted to avoid being alone near him. Officers began a manhunt through the night. Not far away, they located Joshua walking near a roadway. He had scratches on his body and visible blood on him. He claimed an unknown attacker had entered the break room while he and Riley were inside, then attacked both of them before fleeing, but the story collapsed quickly. The autopsy showed Riley had fought desperately for her life. She was found gripping hair torn from Joshua's head. He had defensive scratches all over him. She had suffered 42 stab wounds. Detectives also discovered someone had used bleach in a storage area, likely trying to wash away blood evidence before escape. The scene showed planning, concealment, and rage. Riley's death devastated her family and community, but another painful issue emerged almost immediately. Her name and details were released publicly so fast that some loved ones learned what happened through news alerts and social media before receiving proper notification. Her mother was horrified that grief had become mixed with public spectacle. While prosecutors prepared the murder case, Riley's mother began pushing for change. The criminal trial later became a strong one for the state. Prosecutors argued Joshua was driven by rejection and jealousy. Riley had refused him, complained about him, and openly cared for someone else. Evidence showed he manipulated cameras, blocked windows, tried to isolate her, and attempted cleanup afterward. Defense lawyers tried to revive the mystery attacker story and suggested Riley's complaints only showed discomfort rather than danger. Jurors were unconvinced. After hearing the evidence, they deliberated for barely an hour before convicting Joshua of first-degree murder. During sentencing, Riley's family created one of the most emotional courtroom moments anyone present would remember. They brought an empty glass vase, sunflower seeds, and 42 purple stones. One by one, loved ones placed stones into the vase, while explaining each represented one wound inflicted on Riley. But instead of leaving the vase as a symbol of violence, they filled it with love, memory, and dignity, the very qualities Riley had lived by. The judge sentenced Joshua to life in prison without parole. He sat expressionless as Riley's family spoke directly to him. Yet, Riley's story did not end with the conviction. Her mother's campaign led lawmakers to change state policy regarding child victims' privacy. A new law was passed requiring stronger protections, so minors harmed by crime would not automatically have their identities released into public records. The legislation became known by Riley's name, turning tragedy into reform. Her dream had once been to help solve crimes in the future. In a different way, she still did. Her case exposed failures in workplace safety, harassment response, victim privacy, and the cost of ignoring repeated warnings. Across all three stories tonight, there is a painful pattern. Heather trusted someone familiar and paid with her life. Kaylin sensed danger but hoped reason would win. Riley spoke up multiple times, yet adults with authority failed to protect her. Different states, different ages, different circumstances, but the same lesson echoes through each case. Warning signs matter. Jealousy can become violence. Silence from institutions can be deadly. And the smallest dismissed concern may later become the detail everyone wishes had been taken seriously. Behind every headline is a person who had plans for tomorrow, people who loved them, and a future that should have happened. These stories are not only about how lives ended, they are about who these young women were before that moment. Kind, determined, talented, brave, and why remembering that matters just as much as remembering the crimes themselves.